All right. Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Town Hall Day to everybody. We are back. I know it's been a while. Just the end of summer was a little bit crazy for me and I think some of the others here, but the Triad is back once again. And we're going to talk some Splinterlands and life and whatever else comes up tonight. But let me kick it out to, we'll go around the horn here. I got Tails next to me first. So Tails, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Yeah, it's good to be back. I know we had a little bit of a summer break there, but it's hitting fall season, so it's almost October. So yeah,
Almost October. Oh, I can't wait. And Lorcas, how about you, my friend? How are you doing?
Doing okay. Getting ready for the snows to come.
Getting ready for the snows to come. And so here in Texas, it's still like 90 degrees every day. So not quite snow yet, but soon enough, I'm sure. All right. Well, so we had the town hall earlier today. I'll be the first to admit I was listening to it kind of in the background while I had to do something else. So I wasn't even able to take notes yet. I'm going to have to listen to it again probably tomorrow morning. But this was another one that was just jam-packed with a ton of stuff that they're working on. The only thing that I didn't come away from it was, that I didn't come away with was like dates on if we're actually going to get any, like not any, but like when we're going to get the stuff and how much of it we're actually going to get before the end of the year and like the holidays. But Lorcas, I know you said you didn't get a chance to listen to it, but what about you, Tails? What were your initial thoughts?
yeah. I mean, obviously the team has been busy, and yeah, I think from what we heard, there's a lot of exciting things coming our way. Something for everyone, hopefully. I mean, there's lots of stuff that was talked about and discussed and dropped today from an alpha perspective. So I don't even know, like your video that's going to come out soon about the top 5 takeaways. I don't even know. You might need about 15.
I know.
Town hall.
You know, I'm gonna admit something. For the first time in my relationship with Splinterlands, which actually just crossed 4 years earlier this month, or at the end of August, completely forgot about it actually. But this was the first time where I listened to the town hall and I was like, I'm having trouble keeping up with everything that's going on right now because they're talking about a lot of the frontier and foundation stuff, and I'm like, I haven't even tapped into that yet, right? Like the modern things, like I'll still play, you know, the modern practice mode, so I'm trying to keep up with what's going on there. Land, I'm doing that. Survival mode, obviously all the other SPS related things, but they were talking about a bunch of different items that they were going to add to chests. Things to like get unsoulbound cards in your chest. I don't know. There's like, to your point, I don't know how I'm going to distill that down into 5 things outside of like consolidating and just saying that there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now. But let me just say hi real quick to New Age is in the house. We got Ankh 12. Thank you, sir. And New Age is saying here, Lorcas, you are getting a skin for Halloween, a new skin for Halloween, which outside the context of this card game would sound really violent, but you're going to be getting a new skin. It actually looked pretty cool on stream.
Delivery. Yeah, that would be pretty scary. I don't really want my skin to change.
They shared a little eye candy of it, but they're doing a couple different Halloween skins. I'm sure they'll do some holiday ones too, but yours was highlighted. Looked pretty cool. But yeah, Tails. So any other thoughts? I mean, I know there was a lot there, but like what stuck out to you?
Yeah,
like what are you focused on right now?
Where do you start? I mean, so I think going back to your original question, I think a lot of this it seems like it's going to be delivered like in October, November, December. So before the end of the year, it sounds like a lot of this is staged and ready to go, which, you know, I think it's a night and day difference from what we saw in 2024, where we went like a whole year with like kind of like nothing, it seemed like. And now we're getting just a ton of stuff. I mean, where to even start? I mean, they talked about reward card, you know, the new reward card set with the bringing back the you know, like Act Gold foil, like the tradable real NFTs to players of the game. They talked about having some controls around that, which, you know, will be interesting to see how that works. You know, that's in and of itself a huge shake up to the meta, you know. about the legendary summoners that much, about the bloodlines and the airdrops coming out and stuff like that. I'm sure that's going to change a bunch. I mean, you got the mini set coming, I guess, in December-ish time frame. You've got, I mean, literally, like I said, there's probably like a dozen or more things we could talk about today that they hinted at. Not a lot of details necessarily, but all on the horizon. Like, it sounds like near-term horizon, which, I think it's exciting for players because now there's a reason to come back. There's a reason to watch Splinterlands stream. There's a reason to do your daily frontier battles or modern battles or tournaments or whatever and stream it and play every day. And, whatever, even though survival mode's off the table now, you still have plenty of ways to engage with Splinterlands. I think the whole skins and avatar thing is cool. I mean, I love that part of the other game that I play, Parallel, right? So I think bringing that to Splinterlands is going to give the ability for players to kind of like personalize their experience in the game and how they play the game, which I think is always good for games like Splinterlands. So there's lots of good stuff.
Well, it's cool because a lot of the things that, like what you just mentioned that we like about other games, right? They're starting to implement that. I mean, we've been, people have been asking for skins and avatars and stuff like that for a very long time. So it feels like that's right around the corner. And I gotta say, like the stuff that they're showing, I know even it's just like the Halloween or holiday stuff, but like it's cool, right? The things that they did with what's that called? I can't remember. Like the arcanes. So they showed like arcanes are going to have these effects in game. So like it's like small baby steps as we move forward. Somebody's saying my mic needs to be louder. Thank you, Ankh. I will see if I can turn it up here in the settings.
I think he's saying it's a little loud, maybe already. I'm not sure.
Your mic is a little louder. Yeah, I guess I read that wrong. All right, let me back it up then. And Ankh, let me know if it's better now. All right, Druid's Blood, what's going on?
Going back to the whole skins and cosmetics thing. I mean, if you remember, I think this was 2021, right? End of 2021 was Splinterfest. Is that right?
2022.
Okay, so 2022.
3 years.
So that was over 3 years ago, and they teased like glamour at the time. And all that was just changing the background color. It was honestly laughable, right? If that was what glamour was, is just keeping the same card and just changing the background color from blue to red or something. It was kind of a joke. And now they're actually showing stuff that's actually, meaningful. Like it's not laughable, right? It's actually stuff that people would actually want to get, right? So I think that's cool.
Well, and Matt is also really teasing and hiding this whatever utility that's going to happen for Glint. Not for Glint, for Glamour. Because he kind of mentioned it again, and he said we're going to keep it close to the chest. Do you have any access to that now that you're working with the team on all this stuff?
No, I don't have anything. I saw the stuff that you saw today for the first time, right? So gotcha. I don't have any special access.
So there's Glamour coming. Let's rewind back a little bit to the new reward card set that is going to be a little bit of a hybrid soulbound and non-soulbound. So they're going to try and recapture some of that excitement of like if you open a chest and it has a gold foil, that thing has a dollar value attached to it immediately, right? And you can go and sell that on the secondary market if you want. Whereas if it's going to be regular foil, it's going to be soulbound, but they're going to have these like scroll things, binding scrolls that you can use as a certain type of potion, which would allow them to come unsoulbound, if I'm understanding that correctly. And you can either craft those with land or you can win them in the in reward chest, which I don't know how I feel about that yet, because there's a couple things. First, you're giving a utility to land, but you're also like not really giving it. And then second of all, you are like, I mean, the amount of chests is like infinitely inflationary, right? Like if more and more people come into the game, it's a good thing in the sense that like if you open a chest and you get one of these binding scrolls, that has a dollar value attached to it too, right? but that's just being printed out of thin air without any like land resources backing it up. So I would think that like would essentially go to zero if it would essentially eventually go to zero, as like once the higher ups or higher level players get all the cards that they need, they're not opening up random chests, or if they are opening up random chests, they're not trying to get unbound soul cards anymore, or maybe they are. I don't know. What did you think of that whole thing?
Well, I'd like to see how the math looks and how the implementation is before passing judgment. And I think the idea is very good. I think depends. Going back to your original question, I mean, it depends on what the drop rates are going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
How they implement the unbinding potions into the game. I think there's always going to be. I mean, because right now we can always unlock stuff today with the current reward set, right? There's a DEC cost, so that's going to change for the next reward set. Now, how we build a strategy around that, depending on what type of player you are. If you just, most players may just want to buy stuff on the market to max their cards if they can't max it on their own, or people that have a ton of glints may want to unbind strategic cards and put them on the market to sell because there's a demand for them.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's good because it's a glint sink. One of the challenges we've had with the glint token or pseudo token is that it's been inflationary all this time. People have been stacking glints, nothing really to buy with it, and it's just been creating a surplus. So this is going to create a sink, depending on the costs. We don't know what that's going to look like, but it sounds like there's going to be ways to get chests and stuff that are, going to give something of value and use, and you're going to want to burn glint. And we might find very quickly that glint becomes a very, a very rare or valuable kind of in-game currency, because all of a sudden there's a demand for it. People want the new cards, they want the gold foils, they want the potions to unlock and sell the cards. And now all of a sudden people that have a surplus today may not have a surplus in the future. And now they're all of a sudden going like, how do I get more glint? And that's what you want, honestly, from a gameplay perspective. You want people coming back, trying to get more glint, going to Twitch, watching streams to get glint because it's in demand. They don't have enough of it. That's the ideal scenario. Because where we're at now is far from ideal. There's nothing to buy with it, and it's amassing tons of a surplus. So,
yeah, yep. No, you're right.
I just want to remind you, I still don't have all my gold foil legendaries, so I disagree.
Well, actually, that brings in a thought that I had, which is we do have the like the guaranteed gold foil draws, right? Or the gold foil draws, I think is what they are. If you spend your glint on that, are you immediately getting something that's unsoulbound?
Well, it depends on how they implement it, right? I mean,
yeah. Oh, okay. Because they were talking about chests, but then the thought that came to mind, which I didn't have a chance to ask, was like, does that count? Because then people will be able to turn their glint into real value, real dollar value, and that's going to drive gold foils essentially to zero, right? If you have just a bunch of extra glints hanging around.
I think the team's aware of that. I mean, I think they'll make systems in place that are not going to be immediately abusable, and if there is something that's abused, they'll fix it. So again, I think the jury's out, and it all depends on the implementation. All we know is the broad framework of what they're planning on doing. How it's actually implemented in the game, I think we'll have to wait and see.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest questions. If they do stuff mainly with just the chests, and it ends up being like, all right, you're kind of just rolling the dice. This is a little bit more of like a gambling thing people can do, right? Just to go and see what they get. I think that would be cool, because I don't know, there's something about, and I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. Like, to your point about the math, it's like if they did do that, and then everybody just like bought a bunch of gold foil stuff, but then that wiped out the amount of glint, like all the excess glint that's out there, that could essentially accomplish that goal too. Make it super cheap to get some gold foils.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what they do. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a good thing for the game if they implement it correctly. And yeah, I think they've definitely learned something from Frontier mode as far as that excitement and getting quests done daily and playing the game and getting something that they want to open or use. And so I think they'll apply that to the other parts of the game for all the the normal players. And yeah, let's see what it looks like.
Oh, for sure. Hold on, let me just say. So Ankh here, he says, I don't like you can win them. Yeah, I was in the same boat. I think you're talking about what I was talking about, Ankh. And then we got Princess Navashia coming in from Twitch. Let's see what the breakdown is. We got 6 on Twitch today. Very cool. Speaking of which, I was thanks again, Tails, for setting up all of the stuff with the Twitch drops. So I was given some cards. I don't know if we'll be able to do that today, but mainly because we're going to focus on this tournament, which I forgot to even mention as soon as we jumped in. But how are you doing so far, Tails? I saw you were in it.
Oh, you know, I checked in, but I haven't even looked at it, so I probably already forfeited my match.
Oh no! All right.
Oh, yep, defeat. Yeah, whoever played me in the first round.
Someone got an easy win. All right. Well, we had 16 players. I believe the way we're doing this is what, top 5, right, Lorcus?
Maybe. I had to reset it up because load previous tournament settings is gone for some reason. So we'll see what I did.
Oh, no, but I'm just saying the top 5 get a card delegation. So that hasn't changed. Yep. So we'll see. So far, Navashia. Is that you, Princess Navashia? It must be. It's a pretty unique name. Number 1, currently undefeated at 4-0. All right, so we're in round 2. Arnie Boy and Usajin, iBlast and Just Novice, Ran, Splinterlands RU, Wanksmith, and Navashia. Oh, Navashia is just cruising. All right. So, Lorcus, getting back to where you were at, talking about your gold foils, what's your strategy on that? How do you, like, are you just going to buy them off the market at some point, or are you willing to roll the dice with that really expensive glint cost?
Which expensive glint cost?
Are you, so we were talking about reward cards, right? Or are you talking about a different gold foil legendaries?
No, I'm talking about reward cards, but I don't know what expensive gold cost you're talking about.
Sorry, not gold, but yeah. So like if you go to rewards, you can do the legendary gold foil legendary draw. But
That's
this thing is
all
like
I purchase, man. Literally.
Oh, this is all you
I buy.
purchase.
All I buy.
Okay.
Every single season, I buy 1, and if I can afford it, 2 of those. And I'm still missing 3 gold foil legendary BCX. And we've been doing this for what, a year? A year and a half?
Yeah. I think this came in like August of last year, so a little bit more than a year now. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm even hesitant to do the legendary, like the non-gold foil legendary draws, just because it's expensive, and like the chances that I keep getting just duplicates of stuff that I don't need.
Yeah, I've got like 9 of one of them instead of the 4 I need.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's maybe even more. I don't know. It's depressing. I don't look. But yeah, I still don't have them, and I basically hold on to about 10 million glint because I assume I'm going to need something like that for starting a new reward season.
Reward set.
Yeah. So even at the top of the leaderboard, make between 4 and 5 million glint a season.
Nice.
It's all going into trying to get rewards cards for a year.
You know what's interesting? I hadn't even noticed that my glint balance was rising so much until people would like comment on the videos and be like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you holding on to so much glint? But it's mainly because I had all the reward cards that I needed, except for like I need a couple BCX of 1 epic card and all the legendary cards. And so I just didn't want to spend extra on it. But now with this new reward set coming out, I'm kind of double-minded about it. I'm like, okay, first of all, I could go and just like go crazy on the reward set, get a bunch of cards, and right off the bat. And this should show you how much I'm enjoying survival mode, which I know is paused right now. But part of me is like, man, maybe I should just wipe out my glint, go for the epic and legendary draws. Even if I get duplicates, like these cards will always be valuable in or having duplicates of these cards will always be valuable in survival mode, right? And so
I would agree with you on the epics. I do not agree with you on the legendaries because they suck. And I just keep getting them for completionist point of view, but they absolutely are terrible cards.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell were they doing?
Fair enough. Well, even now, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Tails.
I was just saying, I think you're going to look like a genius in a couple of weeks having all that glint to spend on this new era.
On the new set. Yeah, I think I want the shiny new stuff, because part of it too then, since I'm not really playing in modern right now. So part of it will be if I'm able to get ahead on the reward cards, I can just go and kind of pick and choose certain cards, specifically like summoners, if I just wanted to rent those and see how I do in modern, right? Just to kind of play with that and have fun with it. But are you guys? I mean, I know you're scholars in modern, right, Larkus, and obviously you're competing for leaderboard. But what about you, Tails? Where are you spending most of your time with your main deck, not the frontier mode?
Yeah, so it's been challenging. So if for those in the audience that have watched my streams, they kind of know. So I don't have like a ton of time to play daily Splinterlands, but when I do, my strategy has been I play my main account in frontier mode, and to get 15 wins on my main account, it's maybe like 20 battles, and then I'll use an alt account that's playing in gold but with like very minimal cards, and I'll try and get my 15 wins there. And that's pretty much all the time I have. So basically I'm playing 30 wins in frontier mode if I can find the time, and I'm using Xbot bot wild for the remainder, because survival mode's not in play, and then I'll still do tournaments and brawls. So that's the limits of my time right now, which is kind of sad, because I did the math on stream just the other day, maybe a week or two ago, and at the time it was kind of break even between like champ modern at my level. Like I think I was like minimally playing, and I was at champ 3. And I was earning the same amount of value in SPS as I was getting from selling the foundation packs.
Really?
Since then, foundation packs have come down in price, though. So I think it's skewed more towards it's from a pure min-max perspective. From a time, you're better off playing modern manually than frontier. But for whatever reason, I just keep playing frontier. I don't know. So
the meta's just new and simplified there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have max decks or anything in frontier, so it's kind of a challenge playing there. So, but yeah, I mean, from my perspective, what's going to be interesting is, how is that going to change moving forward? Because there's a lot of stuff I want to do in Splinterlands, and I'm just trying to figure out how do I allocate both my time and my existing resources to best plan for that. Because I think you were talking about it the other day too, kind of how you were thinking about survival mode and land and SPS, and I'm going through the same exercise, because I own a lot of land, but it's not because I pull DEC off of it. And I would like to spin that back up. At the same time, I'm probably going to need this new mini set, the meta cards in that, to be able to compete in modern. So if I want to play in modern at a high level, I need to look at how I'm going to get those. Then I got to figure out, well, if I got to get the mini set, then I got to get the legendary summoners. How am I going to afford that? And if I want to have bling, if I want to have skins and stuff to show off, I got to find a way to get those. And then I got to, the glint's probably not a problem because I've been saving my glint, so I don't worry necessarily too much about the reward card set. But it's like, how do you take, like if you pull a gold foil airdrop, do you sell that? What do you do with that? And what do you do with the DEC? Do you convert it to SPS? Do you put it in LP? Do you put it in land? So lots of decisions. And this is again, we always talk about the game within the game. If you're trying to use the dollars and cents aspect of Splinterlands, and you're trying to not necessarily pour in a bunch of capital at all times, where you're trying to actually use what you're earning in the game to propel you further in the game, that's strategy, thought, planning, execution, all that, which is kind of another game entirely. So,
gotcha. Yep. No, that makes sense. It's funny because like we're both having this conversation, and it's like I don't know where I want to spend my time. Even like time and resources I'm like spending on land, for example. I just look at the market. I'm like, man, there's so many cheap cards here that I could either use in survival mode, or I could just start saving up and getting a little bit more active in modern format just for the fun of it. So, and we haven't even talked about glamour and how that's going to shake things up as well. All right, so hold on, let's see. We got DeFizz saying good day. Wang Smith, let's go. Okay, so that was Navashia. All right, so Alex says I'm on the same boat with Lorcus. Druids is asking a question here. So we have a stable platform to build upon. I don't know if I'm understanding that. Oh, Lorcas responded. We keep losing players that have been around for years, and the market is super dead from what I can see. Is that stable? Lorcas, you wanna speak to that a little bit more?
Sure. I mean, if we're saying stable means no longer dropping, then maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't seem good. Like one of my scholars that's played for years just stopped playing, as far as I
Oh,
can tell, last couple weeks, and
what's
doesn't seem
the
to be the
reason
only one.
they provided, or is it
Other
just
things in
not? No,
life are going on. It was basically the what I got from it.
okay.
I didn't go into too much, didn't dig too far. Maybe I should, but that's not good. um, the game, to be competitive in this game, is so much time. It makes me want to vomit. Like I don't even think about it because it's so much time. Like
Yeah.
that's the reason I don't play this game. I have someone else play it because the time sink is insane, like
Yeah.
literally insane. That has to change if they want real people to play this game that are from someplace other than where SPS can pay your bills. It's just nuts. So I think that's a large portion of it, is like, it's not play 15 or 20 matches and have a good time. It's if you want to be competitive, you're going to spend many hours a day on a game that's incredibly repetitive. That's bad. It's just a bad game. That shouldn't be the case. Frontier mode has fixed that for some people because it is more like get 15 wins and call it a day. But you're not maxing an account. You're not min-maxing anything. You're just trying to have fun again. And
Yeah.
that's a real bad place for a game to be, in my opinion.
I'm not sure. I mean, so I can understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I see. I mean, having fun in a game and playing frontier mode just to play the game and have a challenge, I don't see as a bad thing. Like if we take the crypto part of the NFT piece of it out and we say, if you're going to play a game and if you're going to spend like an hour a day playing something for entertainment, whether you play frontier mode or modern or whatever, as long as you're coming back to the game because there's something to do or something to earn or some goal to achieve, that's kind of the point, I think, of the game. Now, people will be saying that to min-max it, maybe it takes 4 hours and they only have, a half hour, and maybe that's frustrating. But isn't that what the game should want to do? Shouldn't it try and say, hey, play me more? It's your choice if you play it more, but at least you have the option to play as much as you can or want to. It's probably not a bad thing. I think if you try...
If it was not a bad thing, then we'd have more people around a long time still playing the game. I think it's provably a bad thing because people are leaving. Like, it's just provably a bad thing. Like, you should have options for people to play more. But the fact to be competitive, it's not half an hour, it's 8 hours. Like it's not close. These aren't numbers that make any sense. That's my concern. Like if this was good and you were right, then people would still be doing it.
Well, I think there's a couple of things there. I think the game modes haven't changed. Like the brawls are the same thing that when I first started in 2021, they're the exact same thing. There's pretty no difference there. So that hasn't changed. Tournaments haven't changed. They haven't added tactics to tournaments. They haven't had new modes for ranked battles. They haven't added like more, monsters or units. They haven't added like a team mode or a dual player mode or anything like that. So
2v2.
Yeah. So from that perspective, Lorcas, I agree with you. They haven't made anything in the game like to make, from that perspective, from a gameplay perspective, to make you want to play more, because it's the same game that it's been for 4+ years since I started, right? So from that perspective, yes, but they've enabled different areas of the game to play the same game essentially, but to earn different things. Whether that's exciting or not, I think that's probably the reason why people have left, because the rewards probably aren't worth the time to play the same game like that. So I think the challenge for the team in 2026 will probably be to add new and exciting game modes, because I do think, to Druid's point, I do think we have a stable base to work from now from a game perspective. If you look at the foundation of the stuff, outside of the game, taking a ton of memory in the browser, but I mean, we're going to have iOS, we have Android. This is a good foundation to build from for new players. And if we can now add new game modes on top of that, whether it's draft mode, whether it's team tournament mode, or whether it's boss mode or boss fights or whatever. So these are the things that I think 2026 could be difference makers for the game to not only bring back old players but also capture new players.
That's super optimistic, and I'm just not optimistic anymore. That's kind of what I thought we said about 2023, what was going to happen in 2023.
But we've seen a lot of change this year, honestly.
Yeah. Hold on, Lucas. So I do agree with you on one major thing, but before we get to that, the one area of pushback that I would give, where you're talking about the time commitment to this, right? To really be a top player, you have to play X amount of hours per day. But that's true for like literally any game out there. And what's interesting is that you'll have a lot of people that will go and play Web 2 games for 8 hours a day to try to be one of the best at it without any kind of return at all. Now, where this model becomes questionable then, right? To your point, where I'm agreeing with you, is that a kid can go do that, or anybody can go do that for free in any of these Web 2 games. But the buying cost, right? The startup cost to be competitive is not just your time, but also your money. Right. So like you're kind of like outsourcing it the way that you have in your model, where you're putting in the time, or you're putting in the money, and somebody's coming in and putting in the time. Right. But most people can't come in. And so to go back even further, where you're saying like people who have been in this game for a long time are leaving, we're getting new players. Right. I mean, there's 5,000 signups. The team is talking about, all these people playing in frontier mode. There are new people here. But the question is, are they the people that are going to replace kind of like the hardcore players that are leaving or have left? I don't know.
Yeah, and there's just no way. There is no way. There's absolutely no enticement for someone coming in to look at my account and be like, yeah, I'd like to do that. Are you on crack?
Well, like, what made you do it?
Nuts. It was a piece over time. I got suckered in by being an idiot. That's how it happened. But no one else is going to come in and be like, wow, this is really cool. I can't wait to drop $60,000 to try out this game. Like, that's just stupid. Like the game isn't that. It's never been that, but we can't even pretend it's that anymore. So yeah, we can get some people to come in and play Foundations. I challenge you to find 10 new players that will buy a single gold foil card that's not Foundations. Good luck with that.
Well, so that's the point, right? What they've done is they've opened this up to a completely different demographic of player, which I think is good. So let's not throw shade on that. Like, I think it's great that we are opening it up to basically free to play, right? Because that gets people's foot in the door, and then the hope is that there will be more Lorcases and Vuctuses or Brave Tofus at some point in the future. But to your point, I don't think that time is now. Or I mean, somebody. Until I see like somebody come in and like want to be a top tier SPS holder, which like right now is like literally one of the best times because of how low SPS is. Not financial advice, but it's just, when you think about where it's at versus its history, we haven't seen someone come in and be like, you know what? I really believe in what this game is trying to do, and forget about the cards, forget about the meta, forget about whatever. But I want to buy like 20 million SPS because like this is my stake, and at least I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. Granted, I'm not in the weeds every day the way I used to be. But the moment I see that, I'll be much more, to your point, I'll be much more optimistic. Right now, I haven't seen it, and I don't know that somebody coming in would want to drop that. But
I also just can't see a path back to it. Like your snowball's chance in hell sort of thing. Like there's not a path to that from what they've done. Like rewards keep dropping. We keep making more diversified modes, which just are going to decrease rewards and require more time and more investment. That's literally what they're trying for. More time and more investment. That's not fun. Like, I'm just reading Edward's comment here, and I 100% agree.
Okay, hold on. Let me catch up here. So Rudy's saying, we'll see what Frontier players do. But my experience is simple. The game is hostile to low-level players. The game has been designed to make you constantly feel like you have to pay more money to have fun, compete. That model isn't fun. Interesting.
So I have, I guess, an opinion on that. So
go for it.
I think, again, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to come in and grind frontier mode and play every day and level your summoners there, and then get into bronze, and then rent a few cards and get into silver, and then start earning SPS so you can stake and get higher. You can do all of that. And Magic the Gathering, or excuse me, Gathering the Magic has proven it with his $10 accounts that you can do that. You can grow an account with $10 and just with time build it so that it's, you know, rewarding for that level of play and for that level of investment. Again, you have to check your expectations. If your expectation is that you're going to come into a game, spend $0, and then play at the highest levels of the game, well, you're just living in a fantasy world. I just hate to tell you. But the ability for you to play at bronze and silver exists today, and you can play at that level and earn at that level and compete at that level and play the game just fine. I think it's when you keeping up with the Jones kind of mentality. When you look around at your neighbors and see them with new cars and new houses and going on vacation and stuff, you're like, I want that too. And it's like, well, you gotta, you know, spend to do that in a lot of cases. And that is a model of the game. The game doesn't hide that. If you want to play at higher levels in the game, you can. It's not forced upon you. It's an option. And if you do so, there's a way to do it. You can do things like strategic renting to get you higher in the game to earn more. You can scholar and basically use cards for free and earn that way and build your own account on the side. Or you can just dive in and buy the cards that you want and start your own account. When I compare it to when I started. So when I started in 2021, I saw the potential. Like, I could have just played it free to play and played at bronze, but I didn't want to do that. I saw people like Clove and, you know, others playing. I'm like, hey, I want to play at that level. How do I get there? I'm like, well, to get there, I need to do this, this, and this. And it's going to cost this, but I don't want to spend that, so I'm going to do this. And there was like a strategy around it. And I built up over time. And as time passed, like Lucas said, I put more money into the game and what have you. And, you know, that was my choice. No one forced me to do that. But I just decided that I wanted to play at you know, gold or diamond level. And for me to do so required X amount of investment. I could have said, no, I'm good just playing at bronze and kept it at that. It just depends on what you want to do. And if, you know, if your ability to do that is not there, then you just have to kind of say, I you know, it's not something I can do right now, which is fine, I think.
Yeah. So, Lorcas, I know you're not looking for optimism right now, but I do want to give you a path to where I do think things could get better. Right. And Princess Navasha is actually calling it out pretty well here. Like, there's a good chance of getting a huge investment player, but getting a lot of small players who do buy into the small amount is very likely. So looking at the numbers, for example, right? According to Dave, said they brought in like 5,000 players. Now they're tracking to see who actually stays, but they were able to bring in players. And we know that there's some new players here who are sticking around. Now, again, those will be like smaller players, lower investment players, free to play players. But the other statistic that was given was like $250,000, like basically $250,000 that was spent in just market transactions. Now, why is that significant? Because that a lot of that is burning DEC and, you know, just circulation around the game. We're in a problem right now where there's just too much DEC once again, and I don't know how we get around that. But the idea is that if they are able to slowly increase the player base, again, not high investment, but just low investment. And again, I know I'm gonna hate myself for this, but just I always keep talking about this dumbass flywheel that we can never seem to achieve. But point being is that, like, when SPS actually becomes scarce because we've burned enough DEC, that we start burning enough SPS, then the rewards start to go up. Then it starts to get interesting. And then again, optimistically for me, that's the point in time where you don't really need a bull run because the rewards are kind of like feeding into themselves. But that's kind of a fantasy still at this point, the same way that we all think like another bull run's going to be a little bit of a fantasy too. But I don't know. That's the path forward that I see that is kind of market independent. But I don't know how long it takes. And there's a lot of ways to mess up on the way to that. And I'm not saying that this mini set proposal was, a misstep, but it's like, we just brought out like 1.2 billion DEC once again. And I don't even know how and when we're going to like work through all of that. So like this whole like concept of the flywheel, which we've all been excited about for the last 3 years, is essentially like dead to me. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here. I'm saying that in the sense, like, it's dead to me until the team can figure out how the team and the DAO can figure out a relationship that's not based on DEC. Because until like that goes away, this flywheel is just never going to happen. we'll always be undoing the work that we did. But I don't know. That's now that's my pessimistic take. Long run.
Yeah, it's way too much energy to maintain optimism with this game. Literally, it's too much effort.
What about you, Tails? Any thoughts?
Well, I've been having a conversation with Rudy here in chat because I think he brings up a good point that's probably related to the topic, and it's about losing players and feeling like you're forced to level up and pay to play because you're getting faced against decks and players, whether it's wild or modern, that are leveled or rented out or whatever, and you just get smashed. And what I mentioned to Rudy is I strongly believe that once survival mode is coded, and it's coded with these brackets and these levels of survival mode, I really feel that's going to be successful. And I feel that that's going to immediately find its way in a proposal to come back into ranked. So I feel like we're going to get silver brackets and bronze brackets and things like that into both wild and modern, where it's a choice from a player perspective where you want to play. And I think that's good. I think it's much better than league caps and league levels of the past. I think it's Splinterlands learning from what was worked well and what didn't work well of league levels and caps, and bring it into a manner where players can choose where they want to play, at what level. Do they want to play with automation? Do they want to play manually? Do they want to have league caps for summoners? They want to have it uncapped, and that's going to dictate where the rewards flow as well. So at the end of the day, I think that is on the horizon. I think that's a likely outcome for the game. And I think it's where the game needs to go for ranked, really, at the end of the day.
Essentially bringing back league caps, right?
Not league caps, but league brackets. So if you look at what survival mode the
is going to do,
is going to do, so they're going to implement that for survival mode. And I feel that once they implement it for survival mode and it's coded, they can immediately, if the DAO and the community wants to move that over to wild and modern ranked, it'll be an easy switch to do that at that point in time. And I think the community wants that, and I think it'll happen. But if you look at the way it was engineered in that proposal, I don't know if you want to pull up the proposal or you can just kind of refer to it, but basically the way it was listed, it was you as a player you lock in for a season where you want to play, and each of those brackets basically has different criteria of what's allowed and what's not allowed, and you can kind of pick your lane. And from that perspective, I think it's better than league level caps that forced you up or down and dictated how you played and kind of handicap some people to play a certain level, and they had to kind of game the system to stay in silver, for example. But now I think with brackets, it gives you a lot more flexibility. You can change between seasons if you want to move up or if you want to move down. Or you can just stay the same and just play at the level that you're comfortable playing at the investment level you're playing at. And the rewards will flow naturally to that level. So I think at the end of the day, that's going to bring players back. I think to Rudy's point, I think that drove a lot of players away when that change happened. And I don't think that was good for the game. So I think from that perspective, I think that's probably on the horizon. And I'm guessing we'll see. I mean, if I were to predict, I'm guessing that would probably be early next year.
Oh, yeah. I think what I just heard you say is that a non-solution to a real problem once again screwed everything up. This has been their MO, is creating complex solutions to things that are simple problems that have simple solutions, and they just don't implement them. So I have no faith that they're going to get this right. They literally never have. Like, I'd like an example of when they have, but it's just not happened. I like to give them more chances. I have for, 4 years and several months. But they just never get it right. Maybe they're going to listen to you for the first time in the history of this game, Tails, and then they will get it right. But Matt's bad at this. He's provably bad at this. He comes up with ways to fix real problems with non-solutions, like 2-day rental markets or season rental markets. Like, all that was meant to fix a real problem in the game, and it didn't. It just pissed people off and they left. So when there's a change that actually gets people to stay, that'll be cute.
Yeah, and I think we're getting wins in that area. I mean, I think slowly but surely the things that they've done this year have been wins and moved the ball forward. I would argue that 2023 and 2024 that did not happen, and we were not getting wins. We were not moving the ball forward, and we were moving in the wrong direction. I think this year, the reason why I'm optimistic is because I've seen a pace change in what the team's been able to deliver, and I'm seeing that what they're working on, while it's maybe not always perfect like we saw with the conflicts with black foils and stuff like that, but what they're able to do is they're making changes that are moving the game in a positive direction over time. And I know after some, for example, that I know that you're not necessarily a fan of maybe the recent reward proposal change, or maybe with the mini set details, and I think that's very fair. I think those are complex proposals, and they're not going to please everyone. I can say that for me, they're not 100% slam dunks either. But I think we have to try some of these things. And I think overall they'll move us in the right direction. The challenge that we have with Splinterlands is the game's 7 years old, and it has a lot of baggage. It has a lot of stuff that I'm sure if we could redo over, like we would never have vouchers. Aggie's greatest invention ever, right?
Yeah.
But we have them, and we're stuck with them, and we have to work with them now. And we kind of bend ourselves in the pretzel sometimes to try and add value to these things that exist here because they're here, versus sometimes taking a hard stance of ripping the Band-Aid off and just getting rid of things. But when you do something like that, then you upset a bunch of other people, and then they leave, and then you have this, problem where you can't keep doing that either. So it's how do you move the ball forward, get better over time, and improve things. And I think the team has done that this year. I think they're listening. You can see that, they're participating in streams, they're participating in Q&As with the community. They're actively going out of their way to get feedback. This is a substantial change to the way Splinterlands has done business in the past. I mean, I can honestly say that I would bang my head against a brick wall and push videos and ideas, and it was an effort in futility. And now it's anyone can basically get on and go into the support channel or the creative channel or go on Discord, and the teams there responding in Discord to comments and suggestions and feedback. They're not I would challenge you to find another project in Web3 that is this accessible and this community focused. And I participate in a lot of Web3 communities and projects, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, I think it's a fundamental shift in tone and philosophy, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, look.
All I can say is you need
go
better
for it.
Web3 communities. Like, there's lots of Web3 communities that do better jobs of talking to their community. I would say that there's lots of changes in the last year. It's hard for me to say it's progress, because every change they do has consequences they don't see, and they literally never find out about until it's too late. Either someone told them and they didn't listen, or they didn't test it, or they did test it and they did listen and they still missed it. They aren't good. They are not good at making decisions.
Look, I would say, okay, and I know we're just looking at some of the numbers here, but by the numbers, you can tell that 2025 has been a different year. I agree with a lot of what Tails was saying. Like, 2023 was a bit messy. I mean, 2022 was a bit messy. 2023 and 2024 were maybe like cleanup years, or specifically 2024 was. But I mean, look at this, right? So we're just looking at like the 6 month, and I know it's a stupid visual because of these outliers, but the number of people either participating in terms of active accounts, you can see is going up slightly, and you can see the signups are going up slightly. So whatever they're doing in terms of getting people to check out the game is working. Are these people going to stay? I don't know. That's the big question. But there is something here. So to go all the way back to that comment about, do we have a stable platform? Yeah, I mean, we have something that I think is enticing, and I think what Dave has been trying to do is maybe turn it into like a buffet style of like everybody can have what they want, right? Like there's something for everybody here is probably a better way to say that. And to be clear, I know that I ended that previous comment like somewhat pessimistic, but I'm actually still optimistic about where this is going. Again, I agree with a lot of what Tails was saying. They've been around for 7 years. They've made a lot of mistakes, but they're still here. And as long as they have the runway to continue doing this and kind of like tweaking and going, I don't know that it's ever going to be a home run hit the way that 2021 was. And here's the thing. It wasn't a home run hit in 2021. It was lucky because it was in the right place at the right time that had a functional game when everything was popping off and stupid amounts of money was being printed. If we ever get there again, I think Splinterlands would actually do quite well. And I don't think that I've said that much in the past 2 years, but I think that they would do well now. I think it's stupid to count on that because we don't really know what and how the market is going to do, which is why I'm always focused on like, what are they doing long term to build? And this is the first time I've really looked at this from like the 6 month perspective, and it's probably too slow to satisfy the frustration that you have, and it's probably even too slow to satisfy myself too. But it's undeniable that they are making progress, and a lot of the changes that they have made are retaining players as well as bringing in new ones. Now, you're still going to get a bunch of people who get pissed off and leave. And I agree with you, Lurkus, that a lot of the people that are pissed off and leave have spent a lot of money in the game, and they're the whales. And what you don't want to do is like lose a whale and gain like 5 shrimp. I don't know what you want to call them, right? For using this metaphor. But I don't know. I mean, I'm still optimistic on where it's going.
There's a lot of time. You're not going to replace that. You're not going to replace that. And I want to comment on Druid's Blood. I have not invited a single person to this game since 2022. Splinterfest was a wake-up call to me that this is not something that I can actually recommend to anyone I care about.
Okay, hold on. Where I missed his comment. Oh, have you gathered new players? Okay. Oh, someone said I miss Weirdbeard. I'm saying lots of...
Yeah, Splinterfest was a wake-up call to me when they tried to throw like 9,000 new things at us for $1 million each. It's like, these guys don't know what they're doing. They're literally just trying to reach into anyone and everyone's wallet as possible.
Splinterfest was 3 years ago. Splinterfest was 3 years ago, though. Like, why?
Yeah. These are better. I'm trying to figure out why I would recommend it now. So let me just go with my friends here. So I'm gonna go find a friend and say, dude, you should not play this other game and these other platforms that you've got, because there's a free-to-play mode that you can earn a $1 down to 30-cent pack. Like, that's an argument I'm going to make. Or maybe I'm going to say, maybe you shouldn't buy a new game. You should play the same game that's been out for 7 years and just buy new cards to play the same game. Who am I going to recommend this to? By people that play games want a game that's interesting and fresh, or has a storyline, has dialogue, has graphics, has literally something that draws them in. The only thing we've got is people that care. Like, our community is the whole reason that I actually went into this game over others, but the game isn't there. Like, all the things that are my friends that are gamers, there's literally not a fit here. Like, there's not a single thing I could be like, this is how I would recommend you spend your time over something else. If they're not gamers, what am I going to do? Say, oh, you like DeFi? Maybe you want to play this game?
But this isn't a game for gamers, though. This isn't a game for gamers. I mean, the game has always been one-dimensional. I think we're all like very well aware of that. I mean, it's fun to a certain extent, but like Tails bought his account, I bought my account. You have a human bot playing your account, right? So it was never about the game, is what I'm trying to get at. So like,
I understand. What I'm trying to say is, why on earth would I invite somebody? Somebody I know.
Well,
there's just no chance.
You wouldn't invite your gamer friends, right? Because again, if they're looking for a pure play game that's super fun and going to keep them engaged just for the gameplay, that's not going to be it. This is so stupidly niche in the area that we're in that I think it's only going to pop off when there will be some kind of crypto renaissance, if and whenever that does come back around. But I like that the team is trying to not focus on that, or at least my hope is that the team is not just focused on that. Hold on, you said something else, but I forgot my thought here. I don't know. That's just where my head is at. So like, I get your frustration on the not wanting to bring in new friends. But also, I don't think you would recommend anybody to come in and play the game the way that you've played it, right? Because there is this sunk cost fallacy that I think many players have, right? So it's funny because I'll call it out here, where it's like how many people are here because they've sunk too much money into the game, right? Versus who are just here purely because they love what's being built. And I'm not saying that those are like mutually exclusive, right? That you can have a little bit of both, but in terms of like who you would invite into the game, I think it'd be a very specific type of person that would be looking for something like this. And even still, like this whole free-to-play aspect is cool because it does make recommending the game easier. Maybe not necessarily to the friends that you have, but to other people out there that are either A, crypto curious or TCG curious, or maybe a combination of both. But like I said, that niche is ridiculously small.
Yeah, and doesn't actually align with reality, because if you're a TCG curious, you go play a TCG. If you're like curious about crypto, you go do something that's not losing money. Like I can't come up with the niche that I would pitch this to this theoretical person.
Well, so this is why, and I think Rudy's been saying this too, right? Frontier does change that a little, right? So Rudy says, I also don't invite players anymore. I'll talk about it, but I don't recommend it. But Frontier does change this. For me, I have recommended the game, not to too many people, but actually to a lot of like either family or friends that are like a lot younger, college, whatever, people that have more time. Because now I'm like, there's a free to play version. You have what many of us don't. You have time, so go check it out. If you like it, cool. If you don't, there's no like. It's the only thing that they lose by checking it out is a little bit of time, right? The barrier to entry is no longer there the way that it used to be for them to just get a taste of it. And so I agree with Rudy that I think it changes things a lot, because now, and you can see this through the advertising that they did, now you can get a bunch of people to come just check out the game. Maybe it's at a place where people will want to stay. Maybe it's not. That's what the team is doing their evaluation on now. But there are people who are sticking around. There are people who are playing. It's just, are they going to grow into, the next Azarcon, Lorcus, Vuctus, the people that have been supporting this game for the last couple of years? I don't know. That remains to be seen.
I just wonder if I can jump in here just for a second, because I have to actually leave at the top.
Oh, you got to jump, right? Yeah.
I've got a conflict. But I did want to also highlight another thing that Rudy said. And I was just going to add this. I was going to say this myself when we were talking about the marketing and who the game is for. And what I thought Rudy, he read my mind and basically, stole my words, is he says he comes from a Magic the Gathering and a poker background. And I was going to say earlier that if you want to look at from a niche perspective, who to market this game to, it's marketing into like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon kind of card players that have that kind of background, that they played that game before, and or poker players. I have been just surprised by the number of poker players or fantasy football players in the Splinterlands community, because that analytical mindset and that I would say just that logical thinking piece is just kind of what links the Splinterlands game to the DeFi aspects of the game. And if I were to talk to Blaze, I would say, hey, these are areas that you want to market to, because this is a niche game, a niche product, and this is the type of background that would find this very attractive to dive into. So I agree with that. And with that, I'll send you guys, I'll have to say goodbye, but definitely was good catching up. We should do this again next week, hopefully. So. Yep.
Sounds good. Tails, thanks for hopping in. We can also start to wrap up here because the tournament is done. So congratulations to iBlast. But here are your top 5. iBlast, Splinterlands, RU, Arnie Boy, Navashia, and Usujin. So guys, go into the details and you can see that there is a link here for this list that'll tell you what cards are available, and let us know in the chat what you are looking for if you are one of that top 5. But so here's the thing. I don't want to like throw a bunch of optimism in your face, because I understand the frustration, and I feel it too. But
it's fine to throw optimism at me. Just expect that I'm not going to accept it. I've tried on all these optimistic viewpoints, and they don't fit.
Sure.
So sure, go for it.
No. Because you bring up a lot of valid points. I just want to make sure that we're looking at it from, I guess, all the angles, or like players are leaving. I have seen so many players that have left the game for one reason or another, because some change happened and they decided that they were gone, right? So there's like irrefutable evidence that has happened. Now, the thing is, I don't know how much of a bias it is that a lot of these were like vocal people in the community, right? They were either streamers themselves or they were very active. Again, and these are good things, right? So it sucks to have them leave. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is it's hard to quantify how much of the vocal minority that they might have been, if that's the case, right? That's all I'm trying to say, because there are a lot of people who are still here, just quietly still supporting the game, buying every set that comes out. And the one comment that I want to say on that, and this actually goes towards I think Rudy had mentioned like the whole keeping up with the Joneses. So when I first got into the game, I went heavy into Chaos Legion, right? And that was like buying Chaos Legion at the top. Now you guys will notice, and I get flamed for this on on comments and videos all the time. But I didn't go heavy into Rebellion. I didn't go heavy into Conclave Arcana. What I told myself was, I have a deck. I paid for this deck, and I'm going to play this until the rest of time, right? So I'm happily playing in wild format now, and I still enjoy it. I still play wild format battles. I still go and play survival mode with the cards that I have. Now, this was a realization and an acceptance that I had to come to, that I'm just the only way to really be the top tier at this game is to not just have the skill set, but to also have the capital. And I wasn't willing to put up the capital every new set that comes out. And I think I don't know if this is what's been a struggle for you, Lorcas, but it's just like, yeah, it sucks to like continue to buy cards and then they go down in value, or continue to buy things and like the team's just not getting it right. So my viewpoint has been like, I'm trying to support the game by obviously, continue to put out content and buying things here and there that make sense within my gaming budget. And that's why I really try to switch to that kind of like perspective for me. But I think until crypto becomes like a crypto alt season becomes mainstream again, the way that it was in 2017 and mainly like 2021, you're not going to get that same type of energy and momentum here, whether it's from the community or from the team, right? For the last 3-4 years, the team has been really shifting this to be very game focused by adding a lot more elements and features. And still, it's the same damn game, right? Like, it's the same thing, the same auto battlers. It's just the names and the faces have changed, and they've added a couple of things here and there. So, and Matt, this is not me trying to like, throw shade on it, because like Matt said at the end of the day, like, we're never going to compete, game to game. But I guess my point with saying all of this is that the crypto DeFi element, whatever it is a huge part of the draw for people. So when you say like it's hard to like recommend this to people that are just purely in it for the game, I fully agree, right? Who are the people that I'm recommending this to? College kids, high school kids. It's like, yo, you like these types of games, right? Well, cool. Did you know that you could earn a little bit of money, right? When you're sitting bored in class, check this thing out. And again, whether or not they try or whether or not they stick around, it doesn't really matter, because now it's just become easier for me to be like, go check it out and give it a shot. Now, is that the target demographic? I don't know. I mean, they're not going to bring in tons of capital, but the people who bring in tons of capital are not coming back unless crypto's like on fire again, the way that it was.
I guess I would just like to make one point. A couple of times we've heard people say something like keeping up with the Joneses, and I don't think that's a real thing in this game. Maybe it is, but the reason I'm still around is because I keep hoping that they're going to take the money that I give them for whatever new stupid shit they're selling me and make a good choice with that money. And they literally haven't yet. And I don't know how many more times I can keep hoping that they're going to drive this to the ground. Like, I don't know how much more I got in me.
And you know that saying, fool me once, right? So they've been fooling you since Splinterfest.
Way before that. But like, look at my account. Like, I own lots of different copies of all different things. Like, I'm not just here to like hold a deck and like show off where I can sit. I keep holding things because I keep thinking that that's going to help our economy do better, that just not flushing everything out is a good idea. But I just don't see them ever doing anything with that. Like, we have commitment from people to this team for years. What have they given us back? Giant fucking headaches? like completely not listening to us for years. This year, which apparently is a year of progress, where
Well,
they've made a bunch of changes and there's not a damn thing I like. Like,
you know,
what have
what's
they done?
funny? Hold on, I will put a little bit of pushback on the not listen to us. If anything, I actually think in some areas, not all, but in some areas, they've listened to the community too much, right? Like the whole DECB thing, right, was a community idea. A lot of the community proposals that have come in, like, have again, I'm not trying to
Okay,
generalize
so they
here.
listen to the wrong shit. Okay, whatever. Like, I don't care what the reason is. But we've
The
had good
discernment isn't there.
ideas coming out of people from this community for years that just don't get ever implemented. And they're like, "Oh, that sounds like hard stuff or something." Like, that's the response we got forever. Like, I don't believe in the team anymore. I don't know what they can do to convince me otherwise, because they literally haven't delivered on a fucking thing I want for over 4 years.
Well, I don't know what else to say, man. But I don't. You got to vote with your money, dude. You got to vote with your money. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to be putting out more stuff, and that's just what their business model is. And if you don't believe in it anymore, I'm not trying to like tell you to leave, but at the same time, like you can't keep doing something. Like you're already like super invested in the game. Like I don't see a need for you to continue like buying all this stuff until they prove to you that they're until they prove to you the level of competency that you expect from them.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea of where I am on this, we have a new rule limiting how many accounts scholars can play, and I think that's a great rule.
Mm-hmm.
But we have literally no way to enforce it or track it or do anything useful with it. We just made a rule. Like, is this a circus? The actual fuck are we doing? Like, I had the COO reach out to me so that he could just take a roster of who plays for me so that he could field questions when the next person accuses me of cheating. That's where this game is for me. Like everyone just accuses my account of cheating nonstop, and there's not a tool to like prove that's not happening because they clearly haven't done that. I just have to sit there and just take abuse, or just be like, or not take abuse and just sell all my shit and leave. Like, that's where this game is. Like, we aren't doing anything smart with our engineering. We're making rules, we're doing stuff, but it's hard for me to see it's better.
Well, keep in mind that for a long time, they never wanted to get rid of botting because they said that there was no way to enforce that. Now, I mean, scholaring is different, but we did find a way to get rid of bots, or at least mostly bots. So maybe there's a way. I don't know.
There
but
is a way. You build tools for it before you make a rule. you
well, okay, fair. The process. Okay.
Yeah, it's a process. You absolutely can make tools for any of this stuff, but we don't. They don't. The only reason they actually have tools against bots is because they fucking bought the guy that was making the bots. Like, it's not that they cleverly came up with a solution. They didn't. They didn't.
Hey man, what if you can't beat them, join them, right? So. All right,
we're gonna have to find the person cheating on this current one, and then figure out how to make it by hiring them. They aren't doing the things necessary. The simple little things that are required. When you make a rule, you need to have it enforceable and traceable, and it's not at all.
Fair enough. Well, I'm not in the scholar circle, so I didn't get the call from the COO, but I understand where you're coming from. All right, let's go. iBlast is the first, asking for you, actually. Looking for a Lorcus. Splinterlands, are you? What's up? Splinterlands, are you also on to Lorcus or Nidhogger? And then, I don't know if I saw Arnie Boy here. You got CSC Cable, though, agreeing with you. So... and then Navashia came in number 4. Nidhogger or a Kane. And who's the... Oh, so it's just Arnie Boy. Oh, and then Usajin. Where's Usajin? Usajin wanted Lorcus, if not Nidhogger. Man, there's a very specific need. We're looking at Legendary Summoner specifically. I didn't see anything from Arnie Boy. Clowns to the left of me. Clowns to the right. All right. Sorry if I probably missed a ton of comments today, guys, but thanks for chatting. It always feels like there's a shortage of summoners, says Navashia. Indeed. All right, Lorcus, you good? Did you get all the ones that you needed to get out there? Am I alone?
Yeah, I'm going through it. I don't have any of the cards left that Usajin wanted. Is the only thing.
All right. Usajin, if there's something else that you want, let us know. Otherwise, you might get something. You might get a surprise. So while he's doing that, Lorcus. Okay, so I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse at this point, or a dying horse. I guess I'm just curious, what would be the most important thing that you think the team should focus on right now to right the ship?
Fix guilds.
Fix guilds. Okay.
They've been promising that for years. Like,
I know.
Guilds
I know.
Because that is where I've invested a bunch of DC to upgrade my guild for everyone to be able to use. And it's just a fucking joke. Like, I have a guy that runs it for me, trying to keep people in there just to like come in and play a brawl every few days. Like, it's so freaking stupid. There is absolutely no reason why anyone should put any DC into like a guild building, because that stuff is broken. So yeah, start there.
All right, he wants Fizbo. So I agree with you 100%. I still remember, was it 2-3 years ago, they talked about guild alliances. That never happened, and then guilds just became the butt of every joke. So I know that's something that they're trying to work on now. I really hope they get it right. Because to your point, like, look at me. I mean, I literally am in the game every day. I play every day, even if it's just a battle here or two. But I don't even bother with my guild brawls anymore. My guild leader, Darkest Knight, left the game. I don't know, 2 years ago. Like, the guild is just completely fallen apart. And to be fair, I've gotten some really nice invites from people to join their guild, and I do appreciate that more than you know. But this should tell you something in terms of like how much I agree with Lorcus. I just don't care about guilds. Like, if anything, I don't want to join the other guilds, not necessarily because of like loyalty, although I'm still trying to get Darkest Knight back at some point. But it's more so like I don't want to bother. I just don't want to bother with like doing extra battles and something. Like, it's not exciting to me. It's not anything different than what I'm doing just playing the game when I have like the freedom and luxury to do it. So I do hope that they change guilds in a positive way and bring me back to that. So Rudy says Guild Brawl's his favorite. All right. They're the most fun left. I'm missing something.
Princess, I think he's right. It's the best place where you can get a legit fight with a legit rule set. It's that, but it's what 5 or whatever matches a week. And
yeah, it's like every 5 days or something like that.
Forever. Like, it needs so much more. Like, this, it should be the place where new players end up and get them attached to the game, and it's not that at all.
Gotcha. Navashia says, I'm in Japan right now. I'm from America, and Navashia is just a name I made up because Nemesia, a type of flower, is always used. Is that your name, Nemesia? That's a cool name, although I've never heard of that flower before. All right, we got a little lore on you, Princess Navashia. Thank you for the delegation. Yeah, guys, make sure you thank Lorcus for putting together the tournament as well as the prizes for it. Yeah, built a gold level deck. Yeah, I mean, look, they're in build mode again, so hopefully when they get out of build mode, a lot of the stuff that they deliver is going to be fun and exciting. But it remains to be seen. We'll go ahead and close it out here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody's thanking you for the delegation. Lorcus, thanks for being here. Shout out to Tails again for hopping in for as long as he could. And we'll try to do this again and get back to a regular pace for you guys. But thanks to everybody for participating. And we'll see you all very soon. Peace.